The other guest, Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes. How did you find this guy?
Also through Steve.
Okay.
I read it somewhere that he was a huge fan of the Dream Syndicate in the 80s, and he even had a poster of the band hanging in his bathroom. And I think it was 2014, the Black Crowes were playing the Paradiso in Amsterdam, and I talked about it with Steve, and he said, well, I'll send an email to Chris Robinson. And, sorry. And he agreed right away. He said, well, sure, yeah, just let him come over and find me at the venue. And he was such a great guy to talk with.
I would imagine
just as big a fan of music as we all are.
Oh, okay, yeah. I would imagine he would talk. He probably had to cut him off. I think like he would talk for like 5-6 hours about everything.
Probably he could have.
Yeah.
Since I was still learning on the way, and still I'm a huge Black Crowes fan. Mm-hmm. After about an hour, I thought, well, I probably shouldn't take more of his time, but I think if I wanted to, we probably could have talked way longer, because he just loves talking about music.
Yeah, and you also, I think it was Steve who also mentioned, he posted on some social media, like, I just finished talking, a 5-hour interview with with you. Is that how long? You just sat this guy down for 5 hours and you just kind of let the camera go?
It just happened. Yeah. Steve is a very good storyteller. And the interview you're referring to was actually at our own house. Steve was touring Italy, and he had a stopover in Amsterdam. So he came by, and we turned our living room into a movie studio.
Nice.
And talked to Steve there about the last 10 years of the Dream Syndicate. And yes, Steve loves to tell his stories. So I think I had about 30 questions, but in his first answer, he already answered 6 of my questions. So
he's really articulate. You can tell he's a good storyteller. He's very articulate, but he's like just a guy, that you could talk to about music and about, just very natural. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think from those, we're only 4 or 5 hours, only 10 minutes made it into the last part of the movie. But there's a lot of extra footage. I think
for the DVD, for the Criterion Collection, that'll be on there.
If that ever happens, I would be very happy.